I've been waiting 2 years to do this, and that is to do a live stream with a live audience. I think we have a camera set up. We're gonna cut to the camera. You can hear it, there they are. Just a small, intimate audience of, some new friends, and I think there's a dog running around as well. So we're gonna get into this very soon, but those of you, as you're joining us, just let me know. Also, let's make sure oh yeah, you got that, okay. Just let me know where you're watching this from. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just comment down below and let me know what city, state, or country. And then as we have some people join us, we'll get started with the painting very soon. So I do have one painting for you today, and I didn't put it in the title today because I want you to guess this one. I want you to put your wildest guesses in the comment section. So also, some other big news is we opened up my studio as well for the holidays. So we are now going to be open from Friday to Sunday throughout the holidays from noon to 7 p.m. So is Instagram thinking still?
It's thinking.
All right. There we go. All right. We are live on Instagram as well. All right. First, shout out, hello to Laura from Carmichael, California. And also Vithal from India. Welcome to you. And again, those of you joining us now also on Instagram, let me pull that up as well. Just let me know what city, state, or country you're watching this from so I can shout you out. And then we'll get into the painting very soon. So we're coming to you live from my studio here in Sacramento, California. And if you're just now joining us, I just mentioned we have our very first live audience. So we're gonna put the camera again on you guys. All right, it's on you guys. Look alive, there we go. And that's your where's their camera at? It's over there somewhere. All right, that sounds good. All right, so real quick, let's do some shout outs on Instagram before we get into this first painting. Let's see. Smack'll do. Thank you for the love, appreciate it. The Living Potato, hi, back to you. Hitting Guru, yo. All right, I see Toronto is watching. Houston. The Massage Messiah, we miss you, we need to see you again. And what's happening here is we are live in my studio and we have our very first live audience as well. So, by the way, Massage Messiah is from Sacramento as well. He's like a magician, but without the magic tricks. Hard to explain. All right, Hitting Gurus from Regal Park, Queens, New York. I see San Francisco, Miami, Santa Cruz. All right. New Jersey. All right, welcome everybody. You know what? Let's go ahead and let's start this live stream. Let's go. All right, welcome everybody again. We are live here from Sacramento, California. We have our first live audience. I'll introduce them more in a little bit, but right now, before we get into the first painting, I just want to welcome all of you. We had some news that we shared this week. My studio in Sacramento, California is now open. So if you go to the link in any of my bios, you'll see all the information there. And here's the cool thing, is today's our first live audience for the live stream, and you can register to join us for a future live stream. So be sure to do that. There's a link in my bio or visit garibaldiarts.com/studio. And if you haven't already done it, subscribe to this channel and like this video as well. So let's get back to some shout outs. I'm ready to paint and all right, so shout out to John. He was my tour bus driver when I was not in Blue Man Group. Don't be fooled by the bald head. But I was on tour opening for Blue Man Group and John was our tour bus driver. So shout out to John. Also joining, like always, my mom. Shout out to my mom. Let's make some noise for my mom. Showing love. She's probably gonna show up before this live stream is over. Like you'll see her walk in screen, I'm sure. Also, Roselle, hello to you as well. You're watching on YouTube, thank you. So those of you that don't know this, if you're watching on Instagram, you can watch this either on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you like, or you can stick here. Let's go back to Instagram real quick. A few more shout outs before we get into the first painting. Let's see. All right, so Zerb Ma, hello to you. Let's see, Mr. Girl Boss, shout out to you, appreciate the love. Moonracer Films, our friends at Moonracer Films, thanks for watching. And yes, Zerbma is giving a shout out to my mom, of course. My mom will always find the live stream that's on. So, all right, we're gonna put that down. And all right, another shout out to Rudy Regaldo. All right, we're gonna get into this live stream now. I've got one painting for you today. I didn't put in the title because I want you to guess. So as it's coming to life. And also remember, as I start painting, feel free to ask your questions in the comments and I'll do my best to answer those. But let's paint. All right, welcome to Art Life Live. I've been seeing it over and over, but we are from Sacramento, California, and this is the first time we've had a live audience during our live stream. So show some love in the comments to our live audience joining us tonight. Just put some like clapping hand emojis down there, put some hearts, just show them some love. And then throughout this live stream, not only can you ask questions down below in the chat, but also hopefully they chime in anytime that you want. Just walk up to the microphone that we have here and just get my attention. Just say, hey, David, what's up? Hey, I have a question. And then just do that. But I've got one painting for you today. I won't tell you who it is. You'll have to guess. And I'm gonna try my best to like stretch it out. You guys know I paint fast, but let's have fun with this. Let's go. All right, let's paint. So this process that I do, this performance painting style, I use this black canvas and I use the negative space, so it's the black shadow that's left behind, to sort of tell the story of what I'm creating. And since we're not on stage, I can kind of take my time with this. I'm not gonna rush it. We'll see how many of you can guess what it is, and I'm going to give some clues along the way. And really at any moment, feel free to ask questions down below in the chat. Ray will let me know what those are. He'll shout them out to me. So those of you that are here in my live audience, just like a show of hands, you can make some noise, but who's actually seen a live stream online before? Just make some noise, show of hands. All right. So we've got some newbies here. It's all right. Welcome. There is a link in my bio if you want to join a live stream in the future. So Ray, you have to let me know if we have any questions in the chat, so I can answer those. So when I'm doing these portraits, I usually start with this technique called an undertone. So these colors that I'm putting on the canvas in the portrait first are the colors that I want to show through later on. So instead of just leaving the black canvas behind and adding the lighter highlights, I do the undertone of these colors, and it can be various colors, different shades that I want to show through later on. I'm just curious how soon someone's gonna be able to guess. Any guesses so far? What was that? All right, I don't know if anyone else has that same guess, but we'll see. That was a great guess. Although this could have two answers depending on what generation you're from, because well, at least for now, until I confirm or deny who it is. All right, so someone said the Aristocrats. This is my favorite part, is just having people guess wild different things. Because technically it's correct based on your life experience, you know, whatever you've gone through. Okay, that's a great question. So someone asked online, what's my biggest inspiration when I'm trying to decide what portrait to do? And there's a lot of different factors that I consider, but it's usually trying to narrow down what I want to do, because there's so many different things that inspire me in the moment, things that are happening in the world. So I kind of just narrow it down on something that I haven't done in a long time, and also mostly what would be a good challenge for me in this moment. And that's kind of how I ultimately decide. If I'm at a live show though, I just think about something that'll be fun for the audience to experience as well. But thank you for that question. Who was that? Do you know the person that asked? Rudy Regalado. Thank you, Rudy. All right, go for it. Yes. That's a great question. Can we actually put the camera on him as well when he asks that? So what was the question again? I want to make sure.
So do you clean your brushes after you're done with them, or do you throw them away?
Yeah. So yes. Do I clean them? I clean them all because I try to save as much money as I can. Okay. But I don't do it. Ray actually cleans them, so I can't take the credit. I can't say I do, but round of applause for Ray for saving me a ton of money on brushes. So, but you know, we try to keep them all, and then also the ones at the shows we actually give out to the audience as much as we can. So yeah, so maybe some of you will go home with brushes tonight. Yeah, yeah. Or you know, we won't throw. We can throw them as long as you have good catch. That we can throw them. Okay, so great question from online. Someone asked, what's the most memorable venue I performed at? And there's a lot. I'll have to give you like top three because there's been quite a bit. I would say the first top one was definitely the White House. You know, being able to perform there at the time for President Obama near the end of his time. And the second one, these are not necessarily in order, but the second one was Madison Square Garden, opening for Kiss. And then we had performed there a bunch of times doing NBA halftimes, but to be able to perform there for a concert was pretty amazing. And then, you know what, the third most memorable one was my kids' school. So my kids go to a small, you know, Montessori school, and they invited me. And the reason why it's memorable is because I let my kids give me some suggestions on what I should paint. I'm thinking if they're giving me suggestions, they'll probably love the show. So I perform. I do a portrait of Captain America. I do another one of Maria Montessori. And I'm thinking everyone at the school is loving it. The kids are loving it. I look at my kids, my son cheering. My daughter, it's a little quiet. So the kids walk off, and I see my daughter with her head down, and she walks away. So then I go ask and say, hey, Mia, like, what's going on? Like, your dad's here at your school performing. And she just breaks down in tears. She just starts crying. And she just was like, I can't believe you didn't paint, God, what was her name? This character from The Descendants. And so she was more upset at me that I didn't paint what she wanted. But I will never forget that because my daughter gave me not a very good painting review. Is it hard to do what I do? I would say yes, but also, with enough practice and time, it becomes easier. Like today, I've never done this portrait before, but I'm just kind of going off of just past experience and trusting the process as we go. So I would say in the beginning of everything, it's always difficult, but spending enough time learning the process, I think anyone can figure it out. I don't know. But great questions. Thank you again to everyone who's watching this online. If you could let me know too where you're watching this from so we can shout out your city, state, or country. We'd love to shout you out. Yes.
What artists inspired you the most?
So what artists inspired me the most? Great question. I would say top artists that inspired me to do this style of painting, Denny Dent, hands down. So Denny Dent was the first rock and roll performance painter. He started in the 80s. He was originally from Oakland, California, moved all around the country. But he started this in the 80s when there was no internet, no other form of reference, and he was just this crazy madman painting. I came across his work in 2003. A friend of mine owned one of his paintings, and I had no idea how he did it. I just knew it was wild enough to try. And if it wasn't for that moment, to be honest, I don't think we'd be sitting here in the studio. I probably would have been like a designer behind a computer, which is nothing wrong with that, but it just would have been a totally different journey in my life. So Denny Dent was a huge one. Andy Warhol, very popular pop artist as well. And I would say Leroy Neiman. So Leroy Neiman is also another pop artist, uses a lot of wild color, which I love a lot. But thanks for those questions.
All right, I have a question for you.
Yes, go
Have
for
you
it.
started a painting and then figured out this is not going to work, I have to change it up, or you're like, I have to scrap the whole thing?
So are you reading my mind right now? Yes and no. So there's always moments, even when I'm on stage and I know exactly what I'm supposed to do, and it takes a wrong turn. Say I put a color where it's not supposed to, I've got to let that dry before I go over it. This process, you're always sort of like being light on your feet in the moment. You're always thinking about, letting kind of inspiration guide the process. So more times than not, I just kind of go with it. I just keep painting, but very rarely am I like, all right, I've got to really patch this thing up. But it happens, All right, so someone asked, how old was I when I started painting? And I was 20 years old. So I'm 39 now. I'm turning 40 this year. I was 20 years old, but before that, I was into graffiti when I was in high school. I was into animation, I was into dance, I played music growing up. I was into all these just different things that added up to what helps me do this style of painting as well. Oh, wow. All right. Hopefully they learned something from that in school. But that's awesome. Was it the one from TikTok? Yes. All right. So I'm sure my mom said I'm gonna be 39, not 40. Wait, can someone do the math? I was born in 1982. How old am I gonna be? I'm gonna be 40, right? Yeah. Till next year. Oh, so not this year. So it's December 15th. So I'm gonna be 39. We were about to plan a 40th birthday with a cake. See, this is why I'm glad you're all here tonight. You just saved me. Yeah. You were messing with me. So my girlfriend was telling me, she's like, you're going to be 40 this year. I'm like, wait, how did this happen? Because I'm not. Oh my God, guys, you just saved me at least the cost of a cake that had a 40 on it. And some balloons. My favorite painting that I've ever done, man. It's always my next painting, so I'm currently working on my favorite one. I'm in that phase of let's fix it up a little bit, you know, it's see how this goes. But no, I'm always all about the next one. I mean, I have some over the years that I enjoy, but this is currently my favorite. Again, these are all decisions that I can't make at a live show because it happens so fast. But here we can just take our time. You guys see it all coming to life. By the way, if you see any cities, states, or countries that give shout outs online, let me know so I can give them some love. All right, yeah, so what are those places?
I got a question.
Oh yes, go for it.
So I know that as a painter, you have to have an amazing idea, but how do you implement it to be an inspired design?
Ooh, so how do I create something that's an inspired design?
You have to find an amazing idea.
Yeah.
To make it an inspired design.
So at least with my style of painting, I'm trying to incorporate some symbolism with the person, who it is. So I started off in the process of like, how can I elongate this process? How can I take enough time away? But as it comes to life, I'm also incorporating the color, some sort of psychedelic color from a time that this person's from. You know, picking an iconic image of that person. So whether it's in black and white or color, how does it translate as well? But, you know, my styles, I would say less than design, it's more about the experience. You know, that's truly where the art is. So hopefully you can find a design in it. Yeah. Thank you. Great question though. All right, so Boise, Idaho, East Sacramento. Woohoo! We got some other East Sackers here. What is that? A Tescadero. Welcome to you. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Dallas, Texas. Thank you guys for watching this. Oh, shout out to Deanna Meyerson. She's always watching the live streams, always showing love. Thank you for that. Auburn, California. Welcome. So I'm sure you guys can see who it is, right? So far, depending on what generation you're from, it's either Harry Potter or John Lennon. Either one. And either one is okay. It's all good. Those of you that are just joining us, I shared earlier that we just opened up my studio for the holidays. So we're open now, Friday through Sundays, noon to 7 p.m. And all that information is in my bio. There's a link in my bio. Is that my mic? Ready? Is that my mic? So I'll say this, it trips me out every single time, no matter how many hundreds of paintings that I've done, that when we started this was a blank canvas, and based on the energy of the people in the room, whether it's the energy of the people watching, that this still turns into something that comes to life on canvas. And I'm just this long into it, still fun. I still love this process. Is that my mic that's doing that? Is that my mic that's doing that? Let's fix that. I just adjusted it. We'll see if that helps. All right, let's ditch these right there. Here's some smaller, thinner brushes over here. Does anyone here paint? Does anyone here an artist themselves? There's one over here. Can you come to the mic real quick? We're gonna put you on the spot. All right, so what's your name first?
My name's AJQ. That's my
AJQ?
artist handle.
Okay, and what kind of art do you do?
So I actually do graffiti and murals.
Okay,
Here in
very cool.
Sacramento.
And how long have you been doing graffiti murals?
I started doing graffiti in probably like 7th or 8th grade, and then I got more into murals after I got in trouble too many times in my 20s. So.
Yeah, okay. So what keeps inspiring you to do graffiti and murals from, starting in 7th grade to what you do now?
I just love to create, I love to walk up to a blank wall and just kind of let my mind empty itself onto the canvas.
Yeah.
That process of making something out of nothing, and just kind of feeling the wall out, building it out, kind of doing whatever you want. I live for it. I still do it for free sometimes, you know what I mean?
That's cool. And so I'm just curious, what is something as an artist, if you don't mind sharing, something as an artist that, I guess, what would you want to know that could maybe help you in the next step in your career?
So even just like looking at your paintings, like the layering of light and finding the shadows, I've always kind of struggled with that in my art. So that's why I've always kind of stuck to the graffitis, because it's always more letter based. I'm good at growing that, but drawing something realistic, that realism I struggle with that. So that's something I really love to learn.
Yeah. So I just recently spent some time with another artist that inspires me. His name is Justin Bua. And one of the things that we talked about a lot was value. So how I look at this is these are just a bunch of shapes on the canvas, and there's a light source coming from somewhere, and it's either, hitting it or falling off of it, this light. And so I'm always visualizing just shapes and dimension. And so I guess the next thing that you approach, maybe think about that. Just instead of it looking like a letter or looking like a person, break it down into smaller shapes, and then each of those shapes have their own value, from highlight, mid-tone, shadows.
100%.
Yeah.
That's like, I always see, even like looking at some of your paintings, I was looking at them earlier, just like lines I always like try to do, because graffiti is always like super crisp and super hard. And to really, I'm trying to let myself go more to be expressive like that. We just kind of layer that paint to really make that like color pop in certain areas and give it that depth. So that's
And so I'll ask you this, one last thing is, what advice would you give to a younger artist that is maybe watching this, something to inspire them on their journey?
For me, it was always like produce, get out there and do the act. Always try, experiment, fail, it's okay. But always kind of ask yourself too, like, all right, when I look at this painting, I'm going to be real critical with myself. It's what's wrong with it, And then, so the next time you go to a race and you make that line correct, and not just kind of get the easy way out.
Yeah. Thank you. And it's AJQ?
Yep, that's AJQ.
And what's your Instagram handle?
That's it, AJQ, but with a K, K-U-T-E.
AJQ with a K. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you
Thank
sharing
you.
that. Give him a round of applause. I'm going to add to that. It's something that you said that I would break it down to just your self-awareness, knowing and catching on to the things that you need to work on yourself, because you know, people around you are going to be nice to you. They're always going to encourage you and tell you your art's amazing, and that is great. I believe in encouragement, but also you've got to know when to go do a little bit more training, or when to, the next time you paint something, to make it a little bit better. And so that comes from the self-awareness, just producing time and time again. So one thing that I had to learn when I started painting like this was to use both my hands. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I'm using both hands during this process, and I saw Denny Dent doing these paintings in 5 minutes or less on stage, and I was like, I can't do this with one hand. So when I do that process, I actually don't look at it like I'm using my hands. I look at it like I'm using different sides of my body and just positioning my body to do the movement, rather than trying to actually do small movements with my wrist or hand like that. There's a little splatter on here. And then I'm always going between doing different textures with my hands and the brushes as well, because there are things that your hands can do that the brushes just can't achieve. Or sometimes brushes are a little too precise as well. All right, let's start adding some hair color on top of the color that's up here. By the way, today, this is a big experiment. From having our first live audience with us today, also just approaching this painting. I've done John Lennon portraits time and time again, but never like this, not with this much color or symbolism or life. So this has been a very fun process. All right. Let's go into the black. So sometimes I'll use the black to cut into the color, which is, for example, I want to make these lines for the hair. So the black, obviously the same color as the canvas, and just letting those little strands of hair just pop out a little bit. Or even, I can use it on the edge of this to clean up the edge of the line. It'll soften out the side of the face. I can cast a shadow from the glasses with just a real quick thin line with the edge of the brush, and then parts of this face just start popping out a little bit, just by that little black line and definition. It's also my eraser when I do make mistakes. I will go straight to that black paint. You know, another inspiration growing up was Bob Ross. Like, one of my biggest inspirations, and I didn't realize it till later, till I started painting. And I appreciated how hard it was to do what he did. To create what he did in a 30-minute span was just incredible. And then, if you guys get a chance, there's a documentary on Netflix about his life, his journey. Some of it's kind of sad, but it's also really inspiring to learn about the artist's work ethic. Like, he produced so much work in his lifetime, and his legacy shows that. You know, he's forever known for what he's produced. All right, we're gonna add one more little highlight up on top of the head. We'll ditch those. Again, thank you everyone for joining us, whether you're in person or online, watching us on this Friday evening, where I just learned that I'm gonna be 39 and not 40. All right, so someone asked, what's the hardest person I've ever painted? I would say Kim Kardashian. Like, one of the hardest portraits that I ever had to do. And so we did a gifting with the Kardashians, and we did these portraits and gifted it to them. But, you know, just the contours of her face, like all these things that added up, it was a very difficult one to do. I usually like a lot of shadows and character. I like wrinkles, and there was none of that on her portrait. That was definitely a challenge. And even when I first started doing Marilyn Monroe, and you know, any portrait that's like very soft, those are usually challenges. All right, what's that? Is my handprint my signature? Yes and no. That's how I end shows, so we'll do a handprint in just a little bit. I'm almost done with this one. And then I also do sign it as well. All right, we gotta cut them off. No more wine for Richie. Okay. All right, let's get some like splash and some color up here. So I put a little bit of water in my brushes, and the paint will travel a little bit further. So let's try this out. Just like that. So we'll get one on there, one splatter, and then we'll add like a clean line. It's a mixture of the organic color splash, a little, do that. Just a mixture of these. Hopefully I'm not splattering this way. I look back, you guys are covered in paint. You're like, this is not what we signed up for. Put a little bit more water on that. We can go to this pink over here. I think we need to change the carpet here soon because all this paint, I'm starting to slip on it. Okay, so Laura said the splatter always worries you. It worries me too. You're not alone. Yes, we have a question.
Your paintings, or do you do it like split second, like off the top of your head? Like,
That's a great question. So are these planned out, or are they just off the top of my head? It's a mixture of both. So I did come in here with an idea. I knew I wanted to do John Lennon. I know the structure of the face. I know highlights because I've messed up enough to know how to fix it. But then also, I didn't want to just do a plain portrait with just skin tones and an outline color. So I didn't really plan any of these colors. I'm really just trusting the process, trusting your faces. I'm looking at you and you're either like, yeah, good job, or like, you know, but it's a little mixture of, you know, memory of the past of that portrait, and then just working in the moment, adding color, just enjoying the process. All right, let's get some more splatter. I want to give a quick shout out though. We'll go to this camera down here. Quick shout out to Shannon and Steven, two of my team members who have been working for months getting this crazy, absolutely crazy studio in order so that we can open up not only to have our live audience tonight, but also to open up weekends and the holidays. They're here tonight. Can we just show some love in person? Steven and Shannon. And of course, their significant others. They're significant others as well because they've been spending so many hours here. So Jasmine's not here, but Richie is. But thank you guys so much for your help. Yeah, we would not have opened up if it wasn't for you. All right, let's keep this going. I don't want those. I would say too, the cool thing about these live streams is there's so much freedom of what I get to create. When I'm at a live show, I'm always thinking about that live audience, and you know, it's either a fundraiser or maybe they bought a ticket, so there's that filter. But here, I just feel so much more free to create with all of you and watching online as well. All right, let's splash some color and then we'll wrap this one up. Is that all right? So I love splashing the black because it does the same thing when I was brushing it on, is that black sort of cuts into the color, creates some contrast. You'll see that when we put the camera a little bit closer. Splash some skin tones over here. So what I'm doing is I'm dipping my hands in the paint, but also I wanted to water it down a little bit so that the paint flies just a little bit more. Adding those lines that a brush just can't do. I think it needs one more color to splash. Wipe these hands off. Anyone have a color suggestion? Yellow. There we go. All right, we're doing it. We're gonna dip in the yellow into. I love it. There we go. That's it. All right, we'll come down here. All right, all done. So we'll do this. We'll leave the camera on the John Lennon just for about a minute or so. I just want to thank all of you for watching this. Those of you who are joining on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We'll be sure to, we got to do it on TikTok next time as well. We were on TikTok today. And also, most importantly, thank you to my live audience who's with us in my studio tonight. We got some family and friends with us too, but take one last look at this John Lennon love piece, and then we'll wrap this up. We'll answer some questions. All right. I'll walk this way. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And don't go anywhere. We'll get some pictures too with each other. All right, so get one last look at that John Lennon love piece. Thank you to everyone watching on Instagram, YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed, be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Thank you very much for all the towels. You guys can't see this, but they're handing me a ton of towels. The melting of paint. All right, let's chat. All right, look at this. I'm just full of sweat and paint now. Take one look at the John Lennon. Just created that live during this live stream. We announced earlier we have our first live audience. If you want to join a future live audience and be here in studio with me, visit garibaldiarts.com/studio or the link in my bio on most of my platforms that we're live streaming to should have that link as well. But you could just search it on my Instagram or my Twitter, anywhere else. But garibaldiarts.com/studio, there's information there. Oh, we'll put it on the screen. There we go. That's what we got Ray here for. He's on it. All right, I'm going to answer some questions also that I see here on the screen before I get out of here. Again, shout out to my mom, who is most of the comments on here. And also, Tammy was the winner of one of my paintings that we did on the KISS tour. So I just got off doing 2 months with KISS, and I did a 30-minute 3-painting opening set. 2 of the paintings were just fun rock icons, and the last painting was of the band KISS with the city name on it as well. So that one, the audience texted to bid to win that, and each night we raised anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 for charity. And the money we were raising was going towards different touring crews around the world that were out of work over the past couple years. So it's called Crew Nation, and it's headed up by Live Nation, and we were able to assist touring crews all over the world. So Tammy, I say that to say thank you for helping us raise money, and I hope you enjoy the painting as well. And I'll answer this question. So on YouTube, Vacavillain is their name, says, do you always do your shadows the same direction? No, I don't. The shadows, because we're talking about light sources and shadows, for every portrait it's always different. Sometimes the light source comes from up under, sometimes there's 2 light sources, but this one in particular, we'll just show that John Lennon real quick. This one, the light source from the reference image that I had seen earlier, is coming from the left, so we just went off of that. And then if you look closer, some other details, but I will be posting this on my Instagram probably tomorrow, so take a look at that. Let's see if there's any other questions that I missed in here. Let me go on Instagram real quick before we wrap this up. Shout out to Mateo Charles, who's in Australia. He's another live painter based in Australia. And let's do this. Let's end with this. Let's end with me just shouting out your city, state, or country. Just let me know, where are you in the world right now? I would love to end that way. I know there's people from all over the world that watch this live stream, and I'm super grateful. And also, but as you're typing your city, state, or country, and before we wrap this up, I just want to thank you all for spending your evening, or maybe it's your morning, where you are in the world as well. I know there's a lot of things to be doing in this world right now, and I appreciate you hanging out with us. And then also be sure to follow my Instagram for daily updates about my studio opening as well. We've got some information there. Mateo, yes. All right, so we've got some cities coming in here. Don't be shy. I see Marin County. We'll end it with this. Marin County, Philadelphia, Houston, Texas, Los Angeles, Rego Park, New York. Where else are you guys from? We're in Sacramento, California. All right. All right, Michigan, Springdale, Arkansas, Sacramento. All right, we'll end it at that. And you know what? We are here in Sacramento. We're going to wrap this up. Thank you all so much for watching this live stream tonight. We'll be live streaming again a week from today, November 26th. We may have 1 or 2 spots open to register to be here in studio, so hopefully you can join us. Otherwise, my name is David Garibaldi. Thank you for watching, and give some love to our live audience before we sign off. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Take one last look at the painting. All right.